Flying robots have really come to define my academic experience, as well as what turns out to have also be my my entrepreneurial experience. So I'm here today representing Skyspecs LLC. It's a company that we founded back in March, and I am the Chief Financial Officer of Michigan Autonomous Aero Vehicles. This is a group that we started 3 years ago just because we wanted to make flying robots. And after 3 years of development, we finally took first place in the International Aerial Robotics Competition. Some of you may have heard of it around campus, but the goal of this competition was to create a robot that could autonomously take off, enter a building it knew nothing about, explore using Arabic signs, and then locate a flash drive sitting on a table in a room, exit the building, all in under 5 minutes. So I think that this whole experience of being a student group, it was also kind of like our first entrepreneurial experience. We learned how to raise funds. MAV raised over $200,000 over the course of its 3 years of existence so far. Let me tell you, first of all, raising money in the startup world, not that easy. Second of all, we built our network. Right now, the team that I'm with today is on Skyspecs. All of them were members of MAV. And we knew from those 3 years of working on MAV that we could work together, and that was kind of what drove us forward into becoming a company. Some of the lessons that we learned being a student startup, some people say use your network. I actually suggest something a little more extreme. Abuse your network for all intents and purposes. You should also always be looking for the next person that's going to connect you with your next customer. Second of all, raising money is a full-time job. So if I could encourage you to do one thing, if you need to raise money, start early. You're not going to get it right when you want it. Another thing when it comes to being a student and also having a startup is sometimes the company has to come first, and you have to be ready to make that sacrifice. I'm not saying that you should put aside your academic studies or anything like that, but it is definitely important that when something's got to get done, something's got to get done. The next thing that we really learned as a student startup is that teaming is huge. You need to be able to work with these people, both in social settings and also when you're actually trying to get work done. Being a student, if you're working with other students, you have to be completely selfless when it comes to the company. There's going to be times that one of your teammates is not going to have any time to dedicate to the project. And if you need to pick up the slack, you need to pick up the slack, even though it's perhaps not fair that they don't have the time to dedicate to this. And finally, along the same lines, you need to know exactly what your teammates and what you should be doing at all times. You need to have reasonable expectations of each other, and also reasonable expectations of yourself when you're trying to balance the academic life as well as the startup life.